I am taking a brand new account all the way to 2000 rating, sharing my games so you can learn from my strategies. Today we are rated 1300 and we are playing here with the black pieces. Alright, so he is playing pawn to d4. I actually had to wait, I think, almost 15 seconds. He wasn't even sure what he was going to play for the first move. Let's see. I usually don't really focus that much on opening theory. We're just gonna try to play solid chess. I will actually play the system, which is, I know, super popular amongst beginners, where you basically play, well, either the King's Indian defense or the modern defense or the Peer's defense. It's basically all pretty much, yeah, kind of the same, honestly. This particular one is a King's Indian, although I have to say that the bishop e3 and this particular move order is a little bit strange. I have studied this opening a little bit in the past because I used to play this. But yeah, why do I play a5? Well, I actually have a strategy that I always use here, which is to play pawn to a5 and then knight here to a6. So I can try to attack them. All right. Let me see. I also have to make sure they cannot push in the center. So to do that, usually the best plan is to go with the e5 push yourself. But if we do that, we lose a pawn. But we can grab this pawn, they take, and then I think we take a knight. So if I push, take, no, because the knight would be defending, right? Push, take, yeah, and then they have to take with the knight. Then I sacrifice my knight, and then if they capture, I can take back. So we can actually play this. Because I don't want them to be able to expand in the center and basically grab hold of the center completely. That is not what we want. So yeah, they have multiple options here they are going to push. It is very common that they play this move also a3 to prevent my knight from pushing, which is not a problem. Usually you can then just, yeah, reroute basically to this square. But let me think a little bit. What is a good strategy here for black? Okay. So I still have to develop my light squared bishop. My opponent hasn't castled yet. And I blocked in my own dark squared bishop. I do want to play, in a sense, maybe knight c5, but my entire position would collapse if I do that. So I am thinking of maybe knight here as a good plan. Knight here and then play pawn to f5. And basically see if we can start an attack on the king side, or at least have two different knights that can jump to the c5 square. Yeah, I think that might be a plan. Maybe even starting with this knight. And then if he trades, basically then go in with the second knight. Plus that also open up my bishop. So I do have a lot of options here. I think we can honestly play f5, which is a little bit crazy. It's not really my playstyle going for this very aggressive move. But it might work in this position. It might work. And otherwise, the simple move is probably just to play one of these knights to this square. But the problem is, if he never takes me, my knights will just be completely useless on those squares. So I think I will have to play something I actually almost never do. So that's very dangerous, but it's going to be a very aggressive game. We are going to play pawn to f5. And if I can put the knight back, that would be nice as well. And a lot of things can happen here. If they take, I take with the pawn, and basically I have very strong pawns. I also have the opportunity to win a piece, just like this. And they didn't see it, so that's already a free piece. And my queen is also opened up. I can slide over my king, and I can also slide over my rook. So everything was actually fine, but they didn't even see that I was going to try to win a piece here. Yeah, I think that's fine. We can just grab it. And now I basically have to make sure I just don't lose quickly, because the position is always a little bit dangerous with my king out in the open. But I think I can take this. That's one less piece to worry about. And then either go in with the queen, but then he can block with the bishop, or go in like this. Maybe we can trade another piece. Because the moment you are at material, of course, you want to trade as many pieces as you potentially can. But it's been a long time since I actually played this type of position. Yeah, I don't feel super comfortable with this, but I think we are still doing fine. This also looks interesting, but I don't know if it will ever work. Would also be nice to activate my other pieces in a sense. Queen, I have to activate my queen as well, right? I'm just gonna play a simple move. Queen here, maybe here. I think also might be a plan to put the king in the corner. But I still have to be a little bit careful for his counterplay as well. This looks fine. I can go here or there, but probably the safest move will be the best move, also protecting my king. And I have my queen open. And I can now also just use this. So of course I still have to be careful, especially in this opening. You are basically completely opening up your own king. All right. And yeah, that means you have to be a little bit careful for counterattacks. But I don't really see any counterattacks straight away. Probably not a bad idea to move the bishop, so my rooks are connected. And then I guess I will have to move my queen. I am thinking just queen g7, queen f6, just try to propose a trade of queens. I think that would be fine. I could also activate more rooks to the e-file, like I said earlier, but I don't know if that will really be beneficial in the long run. Let's see. If they ever move the bishop somewhere, I can't capture this because of the rook. I think it would be great if I can trade the queens, but he probably just will block with the bishop. So it's not the easiest position. I think maybe c6 might be a plan. c6, taking, and then trying to attack the queen. Or if he takes, go in with the bishop, but I'm also weakening my own position. I'll have to think a little bit again. Or maybe c5? So I was thinking maybe c5 as well, because then I can take away this square and then I can play queen f6. And if he takes, I basically activate an extra piece and I also attack his rook. Because I do worry a little bit about my own position. Like, I can already see that he might have some type of attack. So I will first try to trade queens, because I want to put my king in the corner, basically, so I can also unpin my own knight. But I can never put my king in the corner with his queen on this diagonal. So I think this was an interesting move order, since now he doesn't have this move. And if he trades, basically, the game is over, I think. Yeah, and I think now we just have to put a rook here on the e-file as well. Somehow get this knight back into the game. I honestly don't see how. Maybe just back and then b5. Getting the rook to the e-file. We did lose a pawn, which actually I somehow didn't see that this pawn has been hanging here for probably literally 10 minutes. Yeah, I was just so worried about his attack that I didn't even see that this pawn was hanging. But I think he also is getting himself into some trouble. Because I have some crazy moves probably. This, but what if he goes here? I can't go here. I can go here, but then he goes here and I basically have two hanging pieces. But I can always go to this square. Then he has to solve the problem of his bishop and his rook. This is such a complex position. Or I just ignore everything and I capture this, but that sounds dangerous. Or I try to trade the queen, but then he can move back again. I think I'm going to go for this variation. It's highly complex. I probably need more time to calculate, but I think there might be something in this position. Best move for him is probably queen c7, attacking the bishop. And I think then I have to go knight here, attack the rook and the bishop, try to trade something. Probably we will be fine. Yeah, we attack the bishop, we attack the rook. Not too worried about losing this piece. I mean, the bishop was actually not really doing anything the entire game. So yeah, we can take the rook. I could have also captured the bishop, but probably rook is better. Of course, bishop is a trade, but I did see that we might have something with the queen as well at the end of that variation. But I think if I can, I would just go back and trade and then activate the queen. And we basically are just trading. I am still up a full piece, so I don't really see any problems. He can try to attack, but yeah, it's never really gonna work out anyways. I think I can even play this move. And now I just need to get his knight out of that position. And I was going to say there's a pretty big chance he is going to give away his queen here, because it looks like a logical move, but yeah, I have the rook there. Right, so this was a pretty hectic game, actually not the type of chess I like, especially not while talking and playing an opening. I haven't really played in ages, but I have to say all in all, we actually did quite a good job as a black. So this position that we had here was already great. F5 is a great move. And then here also, of course, we just simply had a winning position. After that, there are some complications here. For example, what I did was just simplify the position. But apparently we have to play pawn here and attack his bishop. And basically try to go for checkmate. So what I should have done probably in this position was play a little bit more aggressive chess, try to think more about attacking, while I was personally just thinking, let me trade this into a winning endgame, which basically, yeah, I missed some opportunities because I was always looking for the safest move, but at the same time I also never blundered and was able to just keep an equal game. So all in all, I don't think it's a terrible game.